Coinbase, the crypto exchange, a major player in the crypto sector, has found it hard going over the last year, and that's been reflected quite heavily in its stock price. Now, I'm going to be looking at the charts to see where it might be heading next, but very importantly, its earnings season, and its earnings for Coinbase next Tuesday, and this could prove a significant point in time for its share price future direction. So like I say, I'm going to dig into the technical analysis to see where it could be heading next. You've still got time to put on those straddle options trades if you're undecided which way the price is going to go, but I'm going to try and have a look and see, like I say, where it is going to head next, and I'm going to throw in a few options trades ideas for you to have a think about as well. So with that, let's have a look at the analysis. Before we hit the regular weekly line chart for Coinbase, I want to show you this comparison, and the light blue line is the stock price of Coinbase, the orange line is the price for Bitcoin. Notice how the two are highly correlated. So a lot of Coinbase's poor performance is literally down to the cryptocurrency market being weak, and I know that's obvious thing to say, but it's often overlooked when trying to pull off the analysis on where the price is heading next. So, you know, good rule of thumb here is look what Bitcoin, Ethereum, those big boys, you know, the ones that make up most of the revenue for Coinbase, you know, what's happening to them, where are they likely to move, because that's going to make people trade more on the Coinbase exchange, get more involved with crypto world, and obviously drive up the price higher. But really, since Coinbase went public in April time of last year, it's been a bumpy crypto ride, and you can see the highs and lows reflected in the stock price. And really, since the end of 2021, Bitcoin has been on the downward move, and that has, like I said, been reflected in the Coinbase stock price. So remember, correlation highly important to factor into any Coinbase trading analysis that you do. So with that, let's get back into the ordinary weekly line chart. So the stock price has been down nearly 70% since going public in 2021. We've just bounced off the all-time lows around that sort of $120 area. Last few days, Bitcoin has been improving in price, crypto world looking a bit more positive, and that's created that bounce there. But generally, trend has been down, and I've covered in that yellow shaded area there, and you can see there's a lot of sideways sort of ranging price action within that. But also note on the right hand side there, the volume, it's all around that sort of price zone, 220 to 260 area, but at the moment looking pretty weak for Coinbase. If you're bullish Coinbase, then the 4-line break chart might help you with your timing to get in. I've got a couple of numbers here, $132.50 and then $138 to the upside. And I say if you're more bullish Coinbase. So the daily Heikin-Ashi chart, well, the signals at the bottom, that's the bottom two lines there, starting to warm up, feeling a bit more positive, but still in the weak bearish to neutral area. Volume and volatility looking more encouraging though, breaking up through longer term moving averages based off the couple of bullish days that we've seen there. And then heading on to the price, well, on the right hand side you can see the probability power calculator. At these levels, 84.5% chance of an increase in price, and what's important there is that they're tied in to those red dashed lines, which is the institutional power price zones. So, you know, good earnings could see this as a base for a move upwards, but the trend though still down. It's under our two pink line box breakout set up with the sell signal, so still not looking great. And just below the probability power box calculator there, we've got those blue dashed lines for potential downside targets, also based off that probability calculator if that trend is going to continue on down, and that range is anywhere between 125 and down to the late $40. So for the Renko chart, we use a $6 block size, and the signals at one bit of a mixed bag. The trend DMI at the bottom bearish, the two shorter term indicators warming up to the upside. You can see the trend clearly down on the price, got the sell signal still in place outside the two pink line box breakout setup. And in terms of targets, if the price fails here, bad earnings maybe next week, where can it head south? Well, anywhere down really to that $45 mark. And to the upside, well, have a look at the sort of recent highs in the early 200s, then up to 265, and then into the mid 350s. So some option ideas for you to think about. I've loaded up my Broke First trade, gone into their options play simulator, and just chucked in a couple of options ideas for you. Still enough time for the straddle trade, but it is expensive at the moment. Now I've got 5,000 in my hypothetical pot here. That trade is going to cost you $3,940, as you can see there on the right hand side, and it's got to move some really to start making the return decent. If the price can get up into that sort of yellow zone that we saw in the weekly line chart around the 230, 240 area, can start to make some decent money, but that's a pretty big move, so you've got to factor in the volatility and potential price move there for the stock if you want to do that trade. But if you don't believe that one's going to work for you, then, and you're still either way in terms of market direction, well, if you're bullish, then we've got a September 150 call. I've given it a bit of extra time just due to costs of the trade and the potential for it to give it the chance to move up into that 230 area. If it can, it's a pretty decent trade. 336% return, $6,000 profit. I say that's the buying of the September 16 150 call. Now to the flip side, if you're bearish Coinbase, then you might want to consider buying the put. We've got a July 110 strike put here, bit shorter expiration period, maybe because that that price, if it breaks down there, could get there a bit quicker, but enough time to help with the costs of the trade. Again, it's reasonably expensive, $1,000 just over for the trade, and if it moves to about $90, you could get an 84% return, about $879 worth. And we have seen from the charts that it could even go lower, down to the $50 mark, and that makes that trade a lot more interesting, but still with the time to get there. So there you go, 3 ideas for you. They're just ideas. There's plenty more options plays you could put together, or even trade with leverage on spread bet CFD. So something to think about. So I'm basing the score on Coinbase purely on the technical analysis that I see today. In the top right, we've got 4-line break chart, bullish entry points for you, 132.5, 138. The two charts, bit of a mixed bag, but with that theme of that strong downtrend in there, which has led me to give it the bearish score. Now in terms of targets to the upside, 2.06 to 1 and 3.4 to 1, and to the downside 1.88 and 2.29 to 1. So at the moment, Coinbase on the technicals, pretty bearish. So if I'm guessing, I don't think earnings are going to be all that great next week, which would add a bearish slant to the stock price and take it down into that sort of 90 to 50 area. But the big caveat to that and my technical analysis bearish overview score is that in the meantime, keep a very close eye on what Bitcoin, Ethereum, the crypto market as a whole is doing, because if that can turn itself round sharply, then the upside there to Coinbase is ready and available to be taken. So it's an interesting mix, an interesting blend there of what to balance in this trade, but they are driven by the success or failure of the cryptocurrency markets, so bear that in mind when you are putting on this trade. So let me know in those comments below where you think Coinbase is heading next. Have you got any insights to share with us? Put them in those comments. Love to hear from you. And if you've liked today's video, please give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. Good luck with the trading, and I'll see you in the next video.